There's a famous case. This was brought to me, it was told to me by one of my students, Rabbi Yehuda Stern, who speaks every once in a while, who went to law school. Baruch Hashem, he became a lawyer. Not Baruch Hashem, he became a lawyer. But Baruch Hashem, he became a lawyer and he became a Rebbe. So he followed his Rebbe, and he's half a day in yeshiva, teaching 9th grade in Tab, and half a day in law school. He was brought up in my house, very close to this boy. Just interesting, he told me this week a story. My father's yahrzeit is coming up this next week, Thursday. So he was over at my house. I was always, minyan, what I spoke about last week. And this week, he's a lawyer. He's a lawyer on when people get hurt, accident lawyer, injury lawyer. And he works for someone on Avenue J. Okay, it's not a big firm. He works for a lawyer on Avenue J. Anyway, to make a long story short, a case came to him. Somebody that he knew, a man that got hit by a car, was in the hospital, a huge case, a multi-million-dollar case. The thing is that this man that got hit by the car, he's very American, very educated, and is going to go for a law firm that's in Park Avenue, that's very famous, that won a couple of $10 billion, He's not going to go for some guy who's a lawyer on Avenue J. But we have to try. So they had an appointment to go to the hospital to meet this man at 4 o'clock. That was he told me the story Tuesday, this past Monday. 4 o'clock, so he told my student, Yehuda, Jeff Stern, told the guy that he's working for that we need to go to Landau's, we need to daven mincha. Before we go, we need to daven mincha. But we'll daven mincha, I think the hospital's in Manhattan. We'll daven mincha at 3 o'clock, and then we'll go. Hashem will help us. But the lawyer that he works for, who was going with him, the boss, started to get busy, this and that and the other thing, and it was like 3:20, and they hadn't left yet. So they get into the car, and the head lawyer, who Yehuda works for, said, listen, you'll daven mincha b'yechidus. If we're going to come late, the worst thing you can do is to these professional people, if you come late, they don't want to hire you. Because someone who comes late is not responsible. So we have to be there on time. So my student turned around to his boss. This is his boss. And then he's trying to get a multi-million-dollar situation here. And he turns around to his boss and says, listen, let me be very clear. We're going to Landau's and we're davening 3:30. I'm not missing minyan. So his boss says to him, we're going to lose this case. He says, no, you don't understand. If we don't go to minyan, there is no case. I'm not going with you. So this guy probably thought that my student is out of his mind. But they went to mincha 3:30. They finished at 3:45. They came a half an hour late to the hospital. Listen to this. He called me Monday. He was like going crazy. They come into the hospital. The man's sitting in his room. They walk in. They're half an hour late. The man looks at my student, and he says, you don't need to say anything. I've thought about it. I've been thinking about it. And even though you're not a big firm, I know you're going to do your best. You're hired. Just give me out the paper and let me sign it. Didn't tell him what cases they won. Didn't tell him what they're going to give him. Didn't tell him anything. That's what he said to him. Just take out the paper. I'm going to sign it. I'm going to trust you guys. So he called me up and he says, I want you to tell over the story because I would have never done a mincha if it wasn't for your father. Emunah and HaKadosh Baruch Hu. If you miss mincha, it's not going to help you in business.